Alright, so in these next few videos we're talking about something you may or may not have seen before, but it's Pascal's triangle, and how does Pascal's triangle relate to what's called the binomial theorem. The binomial theorem, which will show up later in these next few videos, looks very, very complicated, but again, we're always going to go back to Pascal's triangle. So here, Pascal's triangle, Pascal was a mathematician, an ancient Greek guy. He actually had a cult that followed him. Actually, I'm thinking of Pythagoras, but Pascal was also an important mathematician. But Pythagoras is the guy with the cult. Sorry about that. Anyway, so here we had the first few rows shown of Pascal's triangle. Now, Pascal's triangle goes on forever, theoretically. It's just as many times as you want to write it out. I just wrote down the first few rows. And it shows up in many different areas of mathematics. In fact, Pascal wasn't really the guy who invented this. The Chinese were doing this like several hundred years before Pascal did it. It's just since Pascal just was the guy that got credit for it for whatever reason. So anyways, we always start with the 0 row. So this is row 0. Might help if I could spell row 0. The next one would be row 1. Next one would be row 2, etc. Okay, so it always starts with the 0 row and works its way down. So for instance, this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here we have row 6. That's going to come into play in just a second. So you can label Pascal's triangle with their row and column numbers. So far we just talked about the row numbers in this way. So here we have two variables sitting on top of each other inside parentheses. Okay? So the top number n is the row number starting with 0. So we're in row 0, working its way all the way down to however far you need to go, n. The value k is how far inside the row you go. So for instance, let's pretend we're in row 6. So if I want to say row 6, and I want to go how many deep? I want to go 3 numbers deep. What I mean by deep is we start with 0. So 0 deep, 1 deep, 2 deep, 3 deep. That's what I want. It always starts with 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So I'm in the 6th row, 3 deep. So that value would be 20. Doesn't seem too hard. So now let's actually do a few examples. Alright, so I want to evaluate each sum. Okay? Now, this might look kind of crazy. We're talking about Pascal's triangle and summing. So what we need to do, again, in this problem, we're going to the 6th row of Pascal's triangle. This problem, we're going to the 7th row of Pascal's triangle. So I'm going to just draw out Pascal's triangle all the way to the 7th row. So that's the 3rd row. Fifth row. Sixth row. And finally the 7th row. So to do Pascal's triangle, pretty much what you need to do is start with a small triangle of 3's at the top, and then you're always going to have 1's on the outside, always. And then to get the 2, all I said was 1 plus 1 is 2. Next one, 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. 1's on the outside. 1 plus 3 is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 1 is 4. 1's on the outside. 4 plus 6 is 5. 1 plus 4 is 5. 4 plus 6 is 10. 6 plus 4 is 10. 4 plus 1 is 5. 1's on the outside. And you can keep doing that as many times as you need to keep generating Pascal's triangle. So now for the first problem, what we're trying to find is we're in the 6th row. Again, the top number is the row. And we're going to go from the 0 deep to 6 deep in the 6th row. Again, we're just replacing k. So let's first create the sequence. We're going to go from the 0 position to the 6th position in the 6th row. So here's the 0 position, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So that's my sequence that I'm trying to add up. So now for the series, I'm going to just add those numbers. 1 plus 6 plus 15 plus 20 plus 15 6 plus 1. Okay, so now let's use a calculator because that's a lot of numbers to add up. So go back to your main screen. If you got anything else there like I do, just kind of clear it out. Get rid of it. So 1 plus 6 plus 15. Make sure you type it in correctly. Plus 20 plus 15 plus 6 plus 1. So this whole sum that I'm trying to find, my answer is 64. Okay? For the next one, I'm in row 7. And I'm going to go from the 0 deep to 7 deep within the 7th row. So again, here's the 7th row of Pascal's triangle. I need to first figure out my sequence that I'm trying to add up. So 0 position, first position, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. That's the sequence I'm trying to add up in this problem. Okay? So I have 1 plus 7 plus 21 plus 35 plus 35 plus 21 plus 7 plus 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, again, use my calculator because that's a lot of numbers to do. So I have 1 plus 7 plus 21 plus 35 plus 35 plus 21 plus 7 plus 1. Make sure you didn't mess up. Like here I had 24, I need to change that to a 21 and everything, and I had a minus here, I need a plus. So if you got fat fingers like me, you just definitely want to go back and make sure you have everything typed in correctly. So you should end up with 128. So this sum right here, this series of this sequence, series just means you take your sequence and add up all the numbers in it, it's going to be 128. In the next video, what I'm going to do is do the exact same problems, but show you how to actually type this directly into your calculator. That's it for this video.